Hi, everybody. Welcome back to that Eurovision site. Wow, it's been a long time since I've said that. Basically, we are here because after a month, obviously, Kalisz Orchestra won and Ukraine won. We've had a bit of a news that EBU has now mentioned that Ukraine can unfortunately host next year's competition because obviously the winning country will be able to host it should they win. And they have released a statement saying that they are now looking for the United Kingdom to basically host next year's show. So let's delve into it.
Right, so the EBU statement on the hosting of the 2023 Eurovision Song Contest is as follows. Following their win at the Eurovision Song Contest in May, the EBU has been exploring options for the hosting of next year's competition with Ukraine's public broadcaster UAPBC, who previously staged the event in 2017 and 2005. It has become a well-known tradition that the winner of the Eurovision Song Contest hosts the competition the following year, providing certain criteria, including ensuring the viability of staging the event and the safety of all stakeholders, including the public, are met. Given the ongoing war since the Russian invasion of this year's winning country, the EBU has taken the time to conduct a full assessment and feasibility study with both UAPBC and third-party specialists, including on the safety and security issues. The Eurovision Song Contest is one of the most complex TV productions in the world, with thousands working on and attending the event and 12 months of preparation time needed. Following objective analysis, the reference group, the ESC's governing board, has with deep regret concluded that, given the current circumstances, the security and operational guarantees required for a broadcaster to host, organise and produce the Eurovision Song Contest under the ESC rules cannot be fulfilled by UAPBC. The EBU would like to thank UAPBC for their wholehearted cooperation and commitment in exploring all scenarios in the weeks since Kalisz Orchestra's win on 14th May in Turin, and share their sadness and disappointment that next year's contest cannot be held in Ukraine. The EBU has been supporting UAPBC across a whole range of areas since the invasion. We will ensure that this support continues so UAPBC can maintain the indispensable service they provide to Ukrainians. As a result of this decision, in accordance with the rules and to ensure the continuity of the event, the EBU will now begin discussions with the BBC as this year's runner-up to potentially host the 2023 Eurovision Song Contest in the United Kingdom. It is our full intention that Ukraine's win will be reflected in next year's shows. This will be a priority for us in our discussions with the eventual hosts.
Okay, then following the announcement of the EBU, later in the day, UAPBC actually released their own statement, and this is as follows. On June 17, the European Broadcasting Union denied Ukraine the right to host Eurovision 2023 after analyzing the security situation as of June 2022. The EBU is starting negotiations with the British public broadcaster BBC on the possibility of holding Eurovision 2023 in the UK. We are disappointed with this decision of the EBU. During this month, a large number of people in Ukraine have thrown all their efforts to fulfill the conditions for holding Eurovision in our country. Security is, of course, our first priority. The team of UAPBC, state and local authorities did a thorough job and offered different options. It is a pity to see such an unappealable statement. Therefore, we ask our partners to hold further negotiations. Mykola Chernotitsky, and the head of the managing board of UAPBC, said. On June 14, the kickoff meeting of the organizers from Ukraine with the reference group partners of the Eurovision Song Contest and the core team EBU took place. At this meeting, the contest representatives and the EBU considered the presentation of guarantees and preparatory measures, in particular, the security questionnaire, potential locations for the contest hosting prepared by the team of UAPBC together with the government of Ukraine. all security and safety related measures have to be prepared and implemented in close cooperation with national authorities. Therefore, UAPBC held consultation with the Ministry of Culture and Information Policy of Ukraine, the Ministry of Internal Affairs, and the Ministry of Defense. The working group of UAPBC, together with the state and local authorities, proposed several options of hosting the event in 3 different regions of Ukraine: in Lviv, in Zakarpattia on the border of Hungary and Slovakia, and in Kiev. As a reminder, after the victory of College Orchestra at Eurovision 2022 in Turin, Ukraine gained the right to host the song contest next year. UAPBC, as a member of the European Broadcasting Union, ensures the selection and participation of a representative of the Ukraine Eurovision Song Contest, is an official broadcaster of the contest, and organizes the contest in the following year in case of Ukraine's victory. There go, Jazzi, on the...
So following on from the statement that the EBU posted out, about half an hour later, the BBC posted out their own statement. It's quite short and sweet, but I'm going to read it out. The BBC stated, "We have seen the announcement from the EBU. Clearly, these aren't a set of circumstances that anyone would want. Following their decision, we will, of course, discuss the BBC hosting the Eurovision Song Contest."
Okay, then, so before we delve into the UK having the potential to host the Eurovision, as 3 people in the UK just trying to hold it in and trying not to be too excited, personally, let's just say, what are your initial thoughts on this, given the current circumstance?
I think there's one thing that needs to be quite clear, is that even if the BBC hosts the contest, everything that about the contest should be Ukrainian, like Ukrainian hosts, Ukrainian in full acts, just getting like making it like as like Ukrainian as possible. Ukraine should have a place in the final. Like there should be that in the heart, the Ukrainian flag should be there. Like we should simply be a host for Ukraine. We shouldn't be taking anything away from them. Like it's just so like straightforward for me in that. And yeah, that is just my initial thoughts and reaction to.
I completely agree with Jazzi. This isn't a draw, you know, this isn't a case of the winner being disqualified, right? Like this isn't a UK Eurovision. Of course, it's exciting for, I think we have on the team, we've got somebody in almost all of the cities that we'll come to in a bit. We've got someone in almost all of the cities that are kind of, you know, have expressed an interest. So there's a lot at stake for us, obviously. And I think it's natural for us to get a bit excited about it, but I completely agree with Jazzi. This isn't a British Eurovision or UK Eurovision. This is a Ukrainian Eurovision that we're, you know, whatever you feel about, and, you know, I have some pretty mixed feelings about how it all went down. Like that they weren't my winners, but Ukraine is one of my favorite countries in Eurovision. Even if I happen to not vibe with the song that won this particular occasion, I want to see a Ukrainian Eurovision, absolutely. Wherever it's going to be in the UK, I just don't see, I said this to you all in private, I don't see a need for a British presence at all on the actual, in the show on the night. A nod to it, I guess, you know, it's an exceptional circumstance. And obviously the UK did come second, and for the UK to step up, it doesn't mean nothing. But I just want it to look exactly like it would have looked in Ukraine, but, you know, wherever it happens in the UK.
Yeah, I think it's a unanimous thought on that one. Like, I know that the situation is not what we want. We're in an unprecedented situation in the 21st century, because we haven't had this situation for quite some time. And for this time, like, you know, Ukraine want to do it, but they just can't. So, yeah, I really hope that obviously the Ukraine will be involved quite a lot for 2023. And seeing as the EBU has mentioned, they did say that they want to honor Ukraine winning. And I'm pretty confident that they'll stay to that word and they'll try to, bring in a lot of Ukraine action for us. So
I just want to add as well, because I think it does bear some commentary, that the Ukrainian statement in response, it makes me a little anxious. We're used to seeing drama from the Ukrainian broadcaster, and I really hope that it kind of stays amicable. I understand. I think it's completely understandable that the Ukrainian broadcaster wanted to really appeal to be able to host. I think that I completely agree with the EBU statement, though, that it is hard enough logistically to host Eurovision in peacetime in a country that's not under siege. I just really hope that the Ukrainian broadcaster is able to sort of see that it's for the best, that the sooner we can kind of figure out who's going to host it, agree that it's not going to be Ukraine because of all of the security measures, that would, they can't guarantee that it would be a safe, that the event would be able to go on, that it would be a safe. We hope that this time next year, actually Ukraine will be in a position where they could have hosted Eurovision, but they can't guarantee that now. Nobody can. And unfortunately, you do have to prepare for the worst. So I hope that they can kind of come to terms with that, and get over the disappointment of that quickly, so that we can move on with, actually making it the best Ukrainian Eurovision possible in wherever it's going to be. That statement does make me a bit nervous. That statement from the Ukrainian broadcaster.
Well, let's see, and hopefully, they're, as much as it's really want to go back to Ukraine, it's more of there's a lot at stake, and I think that's what the EBU were trying to get to. But anywho, since the announcement this morning, we have had a lot of cities in the UK that have actually expressed their interest. Let's start off with Jazzi, because I think she's very, 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 very excited.
So it wasn't the first city to express interest. I think Glasgow and Manchester were first, but we will get into that. But Leeds City Council released a statement about 2 hours after the EBU's announcement, and it basically says, it goes without saying that Leeds will be bidding to host Eurovision in 2023. Together with ASM Global, the operators of the first direct arena in Leeds, we have been in touch with both the government and the BBC to discuss our plans. Leeds has already proved that it has the capability and capacity to host major international events, and ASM Global successfully hosted Eurovision in the Avicii Arena at Stockholm, Sweden in 2016. Given that we will be midway through the Leeds 2023 year of culture, it could not come at a better time. They have also stated, we are extremely disappointed that Ukraine will be unable to host Eurovision in 2023, but it would be an honour to host on behalf of them, especially given that West Yorkshire is home to a large number of Ukrainians. If we are successful with our bid, we will be looking to get the local Ukrainian community involved with our plans as much as possible.
Okay, next up on that one, we go up north, as Jazzi said. Nicola Sturgeon, an MP from SNP in Scotland, has said, we wish Eurovision could be in Ukraine, but understand that in circumstances, this isn't possible. However, I can think of a perfect venue on the banks on River Clyde. The Scottish government is happy to discuss with BBC, Glasgow City Council, EBU, and others. Indeed, there may be several possible venues in Scotland. Let's discuss. And then another one, Mayor Sadiq Khan of London has also put out a statement about potentially hosting the Eurovision, in which he said, Londoners would welcome Eurovision with open arms. We're ready to step up and support Ukraine by hosting a contest that pays tribute to and honors the Ukrainian people and celebrates the very best of Britain too. So at the time that we've recorded this, our lovely Rory has actually compiled a list of cities that have already expressed interest or who said that they will be submitting a bid. So We'll put a link to that down below. So in addition to Glasgow, Leeds, there's also Cardiff, where local representatives on the Welsh Conservative Party, Andrew Davis, even suggested, the Principality Stadium. So basically a big football stadium to host Eurovision. What could possibly go wrong? I mean, we've had Dusseldorf, but like, trying to think of it, I can already see a problem with that because the roof is retractable and it's not going to be able to carry the equipment it needs at the top of the venue. But, you know, still an interest. There's also Liverpool, who have listed on Twitter that said, like, made a case for it, saying, I think we should be the best city for it because it's the UNESCO City of Music and enviable music scene, home to the biggest band in the world, Beatles, obviously, year-round music events, and the warmest welcome around. It has to be Liverpool, right?
Beatles were a really long time ago. They're not still the biggest band in the world. Come on now. Sorry, this is just my little. I'll get off my Beatles hate train. I get on it at every possible opportunity.
Yeah.
Come on, get over it. It's been like 80 years or something since their heyday. Maybe not quite that much, but like close to. Come on now. I do like the Leeds City of Culture tie-in. That seems like the most current tie-in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But word on the street is it's going to be Glasgow. What? Sorry, I've taken over, haven't I? I'm like, what do you think about that, Tim? What do you think about Glasgow? What do you think about that, Jazzi?
I mean, well, finally, there's one left, Manchester. But then, you know, given like what Manchester is, I wouldn't be surprised if they're one of them if they get it as well. So.
Yeah, I actually am kind of gunning for Manchester. I'm not going to lie. Rory pointed out really validly as well. There's a huge Ukrainian community in Manchester. And I think that should be a consideration. Will it be the primary consideration? You know, probably not, actually. I don't know. It'll be fascinating to see, won't it?
Okay, then. So just to wrap this up quickly, I'm going to ask you, if the UK and the EBU reach an agreement and say, okay, United Kingdom will host the 2023 Eurovision Song Contest, where do you want it to go?
Oh God. I kind of want to say Leeds because I live here, but I'd probably say Manchester just because I live quite near Manchester and the transport system is a little bit easier.
I want it to come to London. I know that it won't. I know that the whole thing is that it won't be London, but I want it to come to London. I won't be able to go to it if it's not in London. Just the price of living is so high here at the moment in London that it basically means if it's anywhere else, I won't be able to afford it. I won't be able to afford the transport or the accommodation, which it kind of, you know, that's just where we're at in the world right now. So I want it to come to London. I so much. And I mean, it's a transport hub. It's the closest of all the cities to Europe in terms of getting artists over from Ukraine, in terms of accessibility to the rest of Europe. There are a lot of things that make sense. It won't be London though, will it? So my second choice would be Manchester or Glasgow. I think it would be really cool actually to have it in Glasgow. I'd like to see more Scottish presence, more non-English UK presence at Eurovision anyway. So let's go and host it in a non-English UK country. Actually, let's go for that. So yeah, second choice Glasgow.
Okay, finally for me, I would say it has to be Glasgow. For a few reasons. I agree with Isabelle's point where, you know, let's try and have it on another place. As you know, as much that I'd want it to be London as well, just because capital city, that's where everything is. I think it was like a Sweden 2.0 where everyone was gunning for Stockholm in 2013 and it ended up being Malmö for reasons of that. I think for me, it's more of give the North a chance to prove itself. And that's what I wanted it to be. Second, the venue, I've seen the way the venue's laid out. As a person who's attended Eurovision for press, it has the space to, like, you know, move the staging equipment, to have the press center, to have the press conferences, etc. So it just makes sense that way. And also a really cheeky reference, Fire Saga.
It would be really fun, actually. Like it would be a fun reference. I mean, the first like the UK hasn't hosted a Eurovision in so long. It would be really fun as a reference, wouldn't it? And it would be kind of iconic if it was in Scotland. It just would. But it's not dead certain that the UK will host, that the BBC will host. That isn't a given. Anything can happen. It's not decided.
So yeah, so fingers crossed. We'll see how this goes, but all the Brits are praying, but then, we don't know what might transpire within the next few weeks. And this is a very big event with a lot of things that need to be planned in a short amount of time. So let's say bring on 2023. Yeah. But anywho, I think that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching this episode where we talked about the UK's potential hosting of Eurovision 2023. It's Tim here, and I'd like to thank Isabelle and Jazzi for joining us or joining me, actually. And then, don't forget
the royal weaver.
Yeah. Don't forget to follow us on social media at that Eurovision site, or that Euro site, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And also, we will be back on that Eurovision podcast soon. We are just taking a little hiatus, and we are very, very looking forward to, be back on streaming again. But for now, have a good one, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.